Hey, Coupley Fit fam. Welcome to episode number 2 of the Coupley Fit podcast. We are going to be talking all things health, marriage, and mindset.
I'm really excited because we have our first guest on the Coupley Fit podcast. So this is a big moment right here.
Big moment.
And we have 2 big guests too. So
Yes.
I'm excited to be able to do the introductions. First off, from the School of Champions, Chandler High School, also alumni. Got to start there. We have Brett Hundley. We have Cadija. I'm going to do individual introductions because you both have such incredible stories. So Brett, I'm going to go back to the Chandler High School days, being an All-American out of Chandler High School. 4-star quarterback. Everybody wants to be the QB. I wish I could have been maybe a quarterback. But the quarterback, y'all, going to UCLA, when we read some articles, they said that some say that you revived the UCLA program from freshman year through your entire journey, going on to get drafted, being 5th round draft pick to the Green Bay Packers, which is incredible. And then to be able to not only have a long career, but go on and do things, real estate, nonprofit, all of the above. And as I segue, because Cadija, just as impressive, and most people may not know this, but
here we go.
A couple of quotes here: explosive speed and agility, and I'm talking track here for Cadija, coming out of Chandler High School, multiple district and state titles, 100 meters, 200 meters, relay team, personal records. So that's incredible because there's so much to talk about with that, but also Texas Tech for track and field, which is come on, there we go. And also in real estate. So there's so much that you all are doing, and it's incredible to have you. So we're very excited today to have you as our first guest.
Man,
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. Happy to be here, and this will be fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Super excited.
Yes.
So I feel like, the kind of like the icebreaker. We typically do an icebreaker, but I feel like, because I have a little insight here, and it's like,
I'm like, you know us.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
You've been known us for like almost 20 years, so it's like, sure, break the ice.
Timberwolves.
Break the ice.
So as an icebreaker, thinking back, you gave me a term earlier today, spin the block.
Spin the block.
So there's a lot of people that might be trying to spin the block right now that maybe saw somebody in high school that caught their eye. They're like, ooh, I would love to rekindle that thing, that young thing, or that old thing. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, it's not really, I guess it's spin in the block. Like in high school, we used to kind of hang out at the park together, like
I got a kiss in high school.
We kissed in high school. We never dated in high school.
Okay.
We never dated in high school, but we kissed a couple times. But we went to college and stuff, and then kind of went our separate ways. I lived in Miami for almost 11, 12 years, so I was on that side of the world, honestly. And then he went to UCLA and then went into football and stuff. So from the time of graduating in 2011 to the time that we actually re-entered each other's lives was 8 years, actually.
Wow.
It was 8 years. So social media, obviously, you start following each other and stuff like that. And I kind of had just seen that, he was traveling. Yeah, I give my father-in-law credit because it's him. It's his father-in-law is the only reason why the conversation even really opened, and it's crazy because now his dad and I are like
best friends.
We are best friends. Like that's my dog.
To the curb now.
He's to the curb.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Like
That happens sometimes. But it's a good relationship with the in-laws.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. Like me and his, that's my dog. Like me and his dad, we talk every single day. Like that's my dog. But I just saw he was traveling, and it was around the time that I was traveling. And when you see someone kind of familiar that's kind of doing the same thing as you kind of get inquisitive, I guess, in a sense. And then he'd actually post a picture with his dad and him, and that's what really sparks. All I literally said, I DM'd him and I said, "Oh, your dad." Okay, that's it.
How it started the whole journey.
And it literally, that was the start of the journey. Because once someone DMs you, then he's clicking on my page and he's like,
"You travel?
Cadija? You travel? Clocking my tea a little bit."
Yes. Got the whole timeline.
Literally. And then I think I was somewhere in the Mediterranean Ocean or something. I was like a drone jumping in, and then that was the first time he messaged me back. It was just kind of like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm in the middle of the ocean somewhere." I can't remember off the top of my head where I was. But after that, we just kind of started talking to each other. And then we met up at a bar one time. And then I didn't see him for 4 months. Oh. And it was perfectly fine because I was but it was such a cool, reconnective kind of thing. And then Randomly enough, he had hit me up and was like, "I'm going to Africa. Like, if you'd like to go to Africa."
Our
So
first date.
this was our first date.
Oh.
It was a
date.
28-day trip to Africa. So I'm like,
Set the whole thing up.
Yes.
literally, I mean, a PowerPoint. This man
Yeah,
sent
for
me
sure.
a PowerPoint of like 9 countries.
here
It was
for
like
it.
airplane, hotel or whatever. And he was just
here for
like,
it.
if you want to go, you can go. And me, I'm like, sure. Like, I want to go. Like,
Definitely.
even if I go and do my own thing, I really entered it kind of like a friendship. I knew like our first interaction after seeing each other after 80 years, I was like, it was heavy and it was nice and it felt familiar. And I was like, still like, wow, like Brett, But when we went, we ended up spending 28 days together. And then after, we spent an extra 2 weeks together because he came back to Miami with me.
First time I ever went to Miami.
First time
Wow,
ever in Miami.
really?
So
Yeah.
we spent a month and a half together from our first official date, and we were together 24/7. And it basically now we're married.
When you can travel with somebody, you
That's-
know that you
yeah.
got something there.
But it's crazy. Like that one, if it wasn't for his dad, and I don't even think his dad really knows that because I don't think we've ever told him that. But if I hadn't have seen his dad, maybe we did. I don't know. But yeah, if it wasn't for his dad, I wouldn't have even said anything. It wasn't even anything slick
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up? It was just
Exactly.
literally like, oh, your dad. But I was looking cute or whatever. So
You know?
it kind of helped. But now we're best friends and we're just traveling the world together. We're living our lives. But it's so crazy, social media and just life and how I really ended up with somebody that I've known for 25 years, to be honest with you. I've known him since I was 6 years old when we joined the cheetah track team.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I didn't know
so-
it went that far back.
Yeah, I was
It's
6 years
far.
old. It's been far. And now
gotta-
we're about to be 32. So.
I gotta show you guys, and I don't know if you can cut it on here, but like I have a photo of us in high school.
And like sophomore year of high school together.
Still, like it goes deep. Like
It's deep.
I love it.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's awesome.
much.
So I guess spin the block.
Spin the block.
and travel.
Bring it back.
Travel, but spin the block and
Yes.
test if the block is worth
And
continuing
there
to
you
spin.
go. Okay, that part.
Yes.
That part.
But I
That
planted
part.
the seed and he watered it. So now we're
Yes.
married and we're almost coming up on our 1 year anniversary of being married. And it was probably one of the best decisions of my life because I got to marry my best friend and now we just travel the world and it's
sure.
amazing. Yeah.
That's
That's
beautiful.
my version.
I love it.
I was gonna tell the same thing. I feel like she's a
Okay,
better
good.
storyteller.
Okay, good.
So
Because
like,
we
I
have
was
two
like,
different versions.
yeah,
So
okay.
I'm glad y'all have the same one. I have the right one.
You have the right one.
I have the right one. But yes. Gosh, there's so many questions, but I know you have one. Go ahead.
So, well, I just had
Gosh,
two.
cheetahs,
I had
6
two
years old.
things. Well, one thing that I just want to say to the people that are listening, and it's that don't be afraid, even if it's for the lady to send a DM or to
Yeah.
reach out if you're interested.
Why
I feel like
not?
we've progressed so much
Yeah.
to where if you didn't say, "Oh my," and it doesn't have to be
was
like
platonic.
it wasn't
Exactly.
thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
wasn't thirsty, but it was enough of a signal of like, "Oh my gosh, your
Yes.
dad! Oh, your dad!"
Yeah.
And
And
it
it was
just put you back on the radar.
and
Like,
it did.
okay,
That's
I'm
a
here.
great visibility.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
and then I'm sure. So tell me about the scrolling. What did you see? So you're on the other
Yes,
end of
okay,
that.
yeah, let me
Oh,
hear
you're
on the
your
other end,
side.
like-
No, for sure.
Yes.
I look at. I'm like, oh, Cadija, wow. Haven't seen her in years. Talked to her, and then this is the match made in heaven right here. Because I'm like, wow, she's traveling. Like, and in my mind, there was not. I'm traveling solo, and I'm like, wow, she was ahead of me in countries. Traveling, and I was like, wow, I need to step my game up. And then, sure thing, one thing led to another, and now we're here. But
Gosh.
yeah, it was the coolest. Like, it was sort of just like when two things meet at the right time, right place. Same sort of things we're into, traveling, life. Like, it just matched, and you sort of get that like, all right, this is actually like really like best friends, honestly.
Yes. Yeah. And we said that on our last episode too. We just mentioned like that is kind of the foundation. We feel like for any marriage is you guys have to be best friends. You have to like the person.
Yes.
You have to like to travel with them. You have to like being around them. And like that on like a basic foundation, you can build so much from there.
I will speak on the friendship thing, and I think that that's something that's even helped us through like not even arguments because we don't even really argue. We just you have a conversation, you get over it. But I remember fundamentally like he's my friend. Like I might not like him sometimes, or I might not even love him. Sometimes I'm like, oh, he gets under my skin.
Yeah.
But I'm like like the companionship and the friendship we have is like nothing I've experienced, and like that's my dog. Like he's my friend. Like, and I want to talk to him as such, and I want to figure it out and I feel like that foundation that we laid of just real true friendship and spending that quality time together has really just kind of like gotten us here. Now that was 6 years ago. So
Yeah,
Okay.
time
yeah,
goes fast.
it's crazy. Time goes so
Yeah.
fast. Like
okay.
So fast.
especially when you're having fun.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
And not to segue too much, but I did want to touch on the travel because you mentioned being ahead in countries.
Yes. I was gonna say
Yeah.
how many countries?
Yeah, how many countries?
We gotta
We're
be
even now,
Yeah,
but it's
we
we're
gotta be
even because
now.
of me. We're not even because of I planned all that travel last year and I sacrificed the fact that I was ahead of him because we're at 65 we're each at 65 countries.
Okay.
We both each personally been to 65 countries. But
Incredible.
last year I planned a lot of the travel and we went to 28 countries.
She planned all the travel.
I planned,
didn't plan
not even,
nothing.
I thank you.
didn't plan
Thank you
nothing.
for giving my flowers. I planned all the travel.
I planned absolutely nothing.
He didn't
Where
even
we going
plan one
next?
flight. He was showing up at the airport like, where are we going?
Where are we going?
I'm like Cambodia.
We went.
I love that.
I'm like, but I was like, instead of you, I mean, of course it's gonna be a competition a little bit at first because it was like cute, whatever. But we're trying to get to 100, so I'm like,
Yes.
I gotta like. There's some places I've been, like I'm gonna sacrifice instead of it always being like we need to go someplace I haven't been. So when we touched Europe, I had when we first started dating, I had already gone everywhere in Europe. So when we went to Europe this last year, he barely got those countries. So that's when he started. I think he collected like 18. He was like 16 to 18 behind me. But that's it. That's the reason why. But also,
Don't matter at this point. We
doesn't
even
matter
at
at
this
this
point.
point. Now we're at the
going
weird
together.
stuff. Yeah, we just need to go back to Africa and really deep dive into Africa, and then also like Russia is kind of like because we went to like Lithuania, Norway, Denmark. So we went everywhere last year. Now it's just more so like the weird place, like the weird harder places. To
Places
get
you
to.
probably went. It's like we gotta hit Lithuania. But like you, it's not like a place where you're like, you know, let's go to Lithuania.
Or even Riga. We went to Riga. It's Latvia, something like that. We
We've
just
been
like
to
spent
some
24
random
hours. We're like, okay, go around, eat some
I
food.
love that.
Check.
Check.
It's off, you know?
Yes.
Even Bosnia, we went to random places. He jumped in a cold waterfall and like, it was like just random places. But that's how he caught up. But we're collectively both each at 65.
That
Not
is
that bad.
incredible. Okay, so now for both of you, which has been your favorite country to go to?
You go first.
Yeah. So this one, the ones we've been to together, Barcelona by far for me.
Yeah.
Barcelona is
my mom went to Barcelona.
Spain.
Loved it.
It's a place that I can and we will call home. Like that's our home.
Okay.
But my favorite I've ever been to, I actually went on a solo trip here, so we got to go still. It's South Island, New Zealand. I took an RV van and did 14 days solo, just driving South Island. It was the greatest trip the craziest, most beautiful, picturesque location I've ever experienced. Like I would tell anybody, if you can go to New Zealand, go. Like it was a trip
I've
of
heard
lifetime.
incredible things about New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Switzerland as well. Switzerland, I heard just like
Switzerland's up there too, but Switzerland's a bit expensive. I think it
Yes.
is. It's like you get in and you get out. You go snowboarding, you see a couple things, and you leave. But like New Zealand, you can spend some time. I would personally say I would either pick Bali because Bali's just amazing, or we recently went to, was it Uvangastad? Something. It's like 5 hours outside of Oslo in Norway.
Okay.
It's where they have like Trolltuga, you know, where you like walk out onto the cliff and it's like very picturesque. Like we did a 12-hour hike over there, and that was like, it was the most grueling hike we've ever. It took us 12 hours.
It wasn't even supposed to be 12 hours.
But it was
We didn't start
hiking
it
and
like that.
climbing. It was hiking and what do you call that? Via Ferrata, where you climb the mountain and you're just on a string and you're like climbing wires.
You guys ever like start somewhere like it's like, all right, we're gonna go on a hike. It's gonna be a couple
gosh.
hours.
Yeah.
Man, 12 hours.
The sign up was 9 hours, and then it ended up being 12 hours. But it was also like, we got to pick. It was like either you pick like a medium version, or you pick an expert. He's like, we're experts.
Gotta
But
do
the
it.
expert levels, like the entry time was 9 hours, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I can do like 9-10 hours. But like when it was all said and done, it was 12 hours, like 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. We did not get back down to base camp. But imagine like hiking, climbing. But I still think that time that we got to spend, the hotel that we were at, it was like literally the most breathtaking experience of my life. Like it was so peaceful, and the people were just so nice, and the waterfalls, and it was like cold, and I don't know, it was just so great. Like I loved Norway. I want to go back so bad. But that hike, man.
By the end of it, man, Cadija was over there.
Man,
Dragging his leg.
Yo, my
Almost
hand,
had to pick her up and
you
get her.
gotta carry a
a backpack.
You're carrying the like thing, because like I said, we were climbing, so
pick
that
that
thing
thing up.
that was connected. I was like, my hip, and the guy's like, he's like, yeah, I got this ibuprofen. I'm like, where's it from? He's like, Russia or something. I'm like, man, that seems like a little too strong.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. But it was grueling. You're not
Yeah,
gonna.
no,
it was
it
like
was.
a 26,
Wow.
28 mile hike though, and with climbing.
it
So
was
don't do
crazy.
me like
No,
that,
you're right,
okay?
you're right.
Well,
Get to the marathon.
And we're in the snow. Like imagine we're on top of the mountain in the snow. So like you got up so high that you start in where the water starts and you end in the snow. Like that's how high we were climbing.
It was
I still
different.
think
It
it was
was
the
different.
most amazing trip that we've ever taken, and it was amazing.
100%.
But and Egypt, I actually liked Egypt a lot. Just more so because who doesn't want to see the pyramids of
course.
Giza? But I don't know. I could go on and
We
on.
can
The
talk
world is
travel all day.
beautiful.
Yes.
Please go see it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can go see the
Absolutely.
world.
So interesting enough, I've got a question about one of the places that you said you love, which was Bali, because I saw a TikTok video that talked about spiders in Bali, and it was discouraging for me.
I know what you're talking
No,
about.
Australia
the
has
video.
spiders.
You've
Australia
seen,
has
no,
spiders.
but you've seen the TikTok video with all the spiders on
Everywhere.
there.
Yeah,
But
everywhere.
It's like we've never.
Did you
I've
guys?
Never experienced that. I've been to
Okay.
Bali 8 times
Yeah.
and I've
And
never
you
once
never-
seen.
never
I've
seen it.
You never
seen
saw a
it
spider.
once.
You never saw a spider size
No.
of a baseball.
I wouldn't be there.
Can I
He
just?
does not do
going back.
spiders. As big and strong as my
I'm
baby is, he don't
gone.
do spiders.
Listen, I got-
Spiders, mice, mouse. No.
Any rodent
Yeah, no,
is
we
out of
out.
here.
She sent me the video, and I was like,
I know exactly.
"Is
what
this
you're
what they
talking
don't tell you?"
Yep.
No, they're lying.
I was like, we
Bali's
can get
beautiful.
around
Okay.
it.
Never seen it.
No,
That was
we've
on
never
the
seen it once.
outskirts.
Yeah, that was somewhere we ain't never been.
That was a different.
He
That was a
would've never
different
let us go
terrain.
back.
I know,
Different
facts.
different place.
We're not going. Oh my gosh.
The other thing that comes to my mind that I love, and I feel like the story you just told kind of leads into this so perfectly. There's probably only like the 1% of couples that could sign up for a 9-hour
Yeah.
excursion
Right.
that's 26 hours and not have to be like air vac.
Yeah.
Like literally shut it down. Somebody come get me in
Yeah.
in the Jeep
Yeah.
and let's ride back down to camp. Like that would be most people, right?
Yeah.
But to have the mindset, obviously former NFL athlete, right? Track athlete, and doing things at an extremely high level collegiately as well. What was like, how does that former athlete in you still kind of like stay alive today? Because I feel like that came alive in that moment over those 12 hours.
It's more. I feel like it's more of like I'm gonna speak for me. When you are with someone like as a man that is like strong and like he's super supportive too. Because I'm not gonna lie, like it did get grueling after a while. You have to think 26 miles is a lot. Like it was a lot.
Yeah.
But our first date we did the Petra hike, but it was like that
Yeah.
one was hard, and we did the hike of Masada in Jordan, and those two alone were like 3, 4, 5 hours. So we'd already kind of tested the water.
Okay.
So it was like, but imagine your first date. I'm looking over him like, but he wasn't like, hurry up.
Yeah,
he was like, he was
exactly.
more like, you got this. And I'm like, you know what?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I'd do anything with him. We've been bungee jumping,
Yeah.
shark diving. We've done all these things because I'm like,
We got
one, he's
stories
not going to
today.
clown on me. And
Yeah.
two, like,
You
who
feel
doesn't
safe.
want to make those experiences with, and then plus I'm a daredevil myself, but also too, like when a man makes you feel like less than when you're doing it, it's going to be a little bit more discouraging. When you have someone like him, like, I'm not going to lie, like my hip was out of there. Okay?
I'm telling
I might
y'all,
as
it
well
was
have man, my hip was out of there. And he
Now we
was,
can laugh
he
about
just
it.
like,
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
laugh
Now you
about it
can.
now, but in the moment I was like, man, I felt like a nerve was pinching, and he was just like, you know what, baby, you got it. And he would just slow down with me. But again, you got to think like 12 hours of just like upward. And then even on the way down, you're still going like up, down, up, down, up, down. And you're freezing cold. It was probably like 20 degrees out there too.
And
So-
altitude, yeah.
And the altitude.
Yeah.
And like I have asthma as well. So but again, he was like, you know what, baby, you got it. And I'm like, you know what? You fine as hell. And I'm like, you're right. Just because you looking like that, cheering me
You
on,
got it.
I got this.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but it's nothing like having somebody who could hype you up like through all of the dumbest crap you're gonna do in your life, even whatever it is. So like he be holding it down for real. So it makes it easy for me. That's what I can speak on.
Yeah. I think it's perfect because like for myself, very active. She's very active, very fit, in shape. Keeps me in shape. And I think it's cool that we can like do things like this. Most time, the man might go on a 12-hour hike. She's been through every adventure I've been on. She's been on. So we don't like shark diving in Cape Town, South Africa. We were in there together. Like
Big old great white
yeah.
shark. I'm like,
in there together, like bungee jumping in Zimbabwe, in the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia. Right there, took a shot of tequila, gone.
jumped off the
Gone.
bridge.
Gone. Like that's the cool
Yeah.
part about it is like even snowboarding. Like, I like to think I'm an avid snowboarder. Like, love. She learned in a day and was there with me, like going down blacks. Like
Yeah. Oh,
that's the stuff.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the
He
stuff.
taught me. He taught me in 45 minutes. He gave me a lesson. So
Oh,
But
there you go.
let me say this:
You're a great
if
teacher.
she wasn't athletic
Yes.
and in shape and
Yeah.
fit, like it wouldn't work, So like for us to both be in that position, still young, healthy, energetic, athletic, and stuff like that with that background, like we can do. It's fun being able to go and travel with each other because we can do everything together.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
so down.
Yes.
I probably shouldn't be, but I am.
No, I love that.
Yes.
You guys, again, the stories, the adventures that you guys
Yeah.
have, you'll be able to tell your kids
Yes.
later on in life. So that's fantastic. So now, what do you do on a daily basis to kind of like keep yourself in shape, whether that's your nutrition or I know you said yoga for you, Brett, that you like to go to yoga classes. Like, what do you do on a day-to-day to be able to do that 26-hour hike?
He works out a lot, to be honest with you. Every morning he's up at 5:30. Like he hits the gym, he's hitting yoga, he's always taking people up on things. And then I'm more of an 11 a.m. kind of workout.
Okay.
But I also very much so, like, I was in nutrition and fitness and all that stuff too. So like I cook all of our food. So I always try to do like a spin on delicious food, but also like on the healthier side. So we just kind of look out for each other, and then he motivates me, I motivate him, and it's just kind of a game of tennis, to be real with you.
Yeah, for honestly, like it works perfect because I'm 5:30 up running 2 miles, hit the gym.
Yeah.
Wednesdays get my yoga in. Maybe Saturdays too, hot yoga. Radiate, shout out to you because that's my studio out here.
Yes.
Love it, but honestly, like. It works perfect because I am like one thing I love cooking and we could touch on it,
Yeah.
but like I'm terrible at cooking healthy food. It's
Really?
not in my soul.
He
to
cooks
do
for
it.
10 people.
I-
I'm a
I'm a-
2-person cook,
yeah.
and he's a 10-person cook. So he's the cook out, and I'm the cook in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's the easiest way to like.
Love
so
that. That's a
I'm a
great way
very
to put it.
good 2-portion kind of cooker.
Yes.
So
And I've had to. I didn't even know even playing in the NFL and stuff. We just can take. I mean, you can eat damn near anything when you're working out like that. I didn't understand nutrition until I got to be around her.
Yeah.
And also when I retired, I realized I can gain weight a little faster than when I was playing. So it works perfectly that my dad eats a lot of sweets, which got passed to me. So I try to stay away from the sweets, but like she cooks the healthy food, I eat it, and it works perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't. He takes the autopilot. He just
100%.
chills, and I'm just like, this is what we're making. But I've also like I'm challenging myself more to cook, so I like making things from scratch now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, how does it taste? Tell me what it is. So we have a grade scale. It's like 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Hey, but it's
Just
8.9 or it's a 9.
Yes.
But I love it because I'm like, okay, what does it need?
scale
More
right.
paprika? Like, what does it? Like, give me a little less salt, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
But I already am in love with food, and I already like studied food and like I said, on the nutrition side. So like it was easy to kind of get him on it. Now he just eats whatever I push in front of him.
100%.
And to be honest with you.
100%.
Oh my gosh. So many similarities in that too. Seriously.
Yeah, and what we talked about this on the last episode, but we talk about being equally yoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being so important. But that's what we hear that's a commonality and the similarity is the friendship.
Yeah.
You guys are both athletes. You guys are both active. You're both adventurous.
You guys
Like,
talking about us? What about y'all?
Yes.
Y'all have the same thing. Write it on
That's
your
a-
board. You guys are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's something
Exactly.
to look up to.
And,
Yeah.
but no, we appreciate that so much because it's so rare.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, I feel like the examples that you see, I feel like every week it's like somebody bites the dust. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah.
You're like, man, it's supposed to be Will and Jada. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's gonna be, people like it's gonna be Cardi and Offset. It's gonna be so and so, and
Yes.
it's like, dang, they're not together no more. Like,
Man.
what happened? So to be able to continue to like grow together and those things is so amazing. Something that came to me though that you touched on was because I feel that on the gaining weight after ball, and also like people don't realize in it's sport as in general because each of us all played sports at a high level. D played volleyball as well. What was it like for you, Brett? But I want to hear from both of you. Once sport ended, because starting at the Cheetahs at 6
Yeah.
years old and being in sports
Yeah.
and football at a very young age, and for you going professionally, you had a professional career. So it's like, I know 5:30 a.m. being a pro athlete every day
Yeah,
of
that
my
routine.
life
Yeah.
and that routine for 20 plus years. Like this is like all of my,
Yeah.
so what was that journey like, right? Once you transitioning out of football?
I think the biggest thing is the routine. For me, idle time will get you in trouble. So like for me, I had to figure out like what my routine was going to be outside of football. In the off season in NFL, they don't really tell you what to do. So you still have to figure out a routine. But then once you're done with football, I mean, at that point, it's the first time in your life you're sitting around like, man, like I nobody's telling me what
Yeah.
to do, where to be, when
Yeah.
to train, and you don't have somebody telling you how to train, what workouts to do. So like to figure that out, especially in the nutrition or health side of things, I remember I was, playing football, 220, 12% body fat, like always.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was one off season, And I'm gonna tell this story
Stop
because
right now.
I'm not gonna let her
It's
live it down.
propaganda.
Nope.
It's
I'm gonna tell this
propaganda.
story. I got up to like 2:38. I was feeling really bad about myself.
Okay.
He wasn't feeling bad about himself. He was eating donuts every day. Don't even do that.
This is the first time I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna see what my body can do. You know, I'm gonna start. I was eating everything.
Cinnabons.
I was eating everything.
He was eating
And
everything.
then she wanted to call me fat one day.
I did not. I made a joke. I made a joke.
Okay.
That joke hit hard.
No, you want to know what I did? It was more of a like, I was like, you know, baby, you know, that's all I did. And he was like,
much.
now you're calling me
much.
fat. And then tell me why he did a crash diet and lost 20 pounds. Literally like this, went down to 217. I kid you not, within weeks. Because he was eating like 800 to 1,200 calories a day. What are you doing? Because I was just, I didn't call him fat. I was just like, you know,
it's always like that. It's always like that.
Listen, his perspective. That's his perspective is his reality. You know what I mean? He never lets me live it down. But now we know, and I know, to never joke with him in that manner ever again. Because it was like he was a teenager again. I'm like, we are like two matchsticks rubbing together right now. Get some meat on your bones. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's way too many muscles in this bed. Like, I need you to go get a little bit more weight on you, because he legit would be like, oh, I'm not hungry. I'm like, you haven't eaten in 2 days. He would go on water, you know, the cleanses.
I do.
For 72 hours. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's not.
Oh, no.
And I'm in nutrition. And
Yeah,
I'm telling him, like,
he
would WebMD himself into a coma if he could. Like, I'm
After
telling
that
you
moment, my mindset shifted.
Okay.
And it
Man.
was like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do working out wise.
Okay.
But I would
Yes.
say, too, like, it was a good moment, like, for me to, like, just test the waters and see.
Sure.
And especially, you work out your whole life. It was like, let me take a break.
Yeah, let me enjoy myself.
100%. But then,
Yeah.
like, you also, I had to realize, like, my enjoyment is in working out. Like, I like working out. I like waking up and getting in my routine.
Yes.
Like, if I don't have a routine, things feel off. Like, I don't wake up in the morning right. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. But when I have my routine and I'm set on it, life is great.
Yeah.
Life is great. I'm waking up. I'm energetic. I'm myself. That's what I had to figure out in my transition.
For sure.
That makes sense. I'll tell you what, you definitely hit a spot right there when you mentioned that 20 pounds. 'Cause
Yep.
Oh,
I feel
God.
that.
See?
Because I feel that.
Y'all are so dramatic.
You talk about going from
So
so
extra.
you're playing. I was like, man, I'm 235. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm playing at this weight. Football ends. And at first, I was still super active. And then to your point, right, you start doing some foodie collabs. You start getting invited to these restaurants.
No, he lived in Miami. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And Miami got that food. I was in Miami at the time, so he moved
So you
to
was
Miami
living
with
the
me.
I was living a good life.
He was living La Vida
I was
Loca.
living a good life.
He's like, oh, I gotta
Yeah.
get a milkshake. He's like, oh, I gotta
I was
go.
going crazy.
They had cookies. They have this like really good cookie spot. They have this Fireman Derek's.
Yeah,
and it
I
has
was going
like
crazy.
he was going crazy. He was getting like Oreo cheesecakes, like everything
Ooh.
you possibly.
Run
And
it.
he has a sweet
I was
tooth.
like,
He has a
take
very
it.
sweet tooth. Like he
And
can eat
one to
cookies
Give me
go.
every
dessert
single
first.
day.
I don't even want dinner. I want dessert
Just
first.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm
just-
not even kidding. Like before the appetizer comes, he will eat the dessert. Like
Yes.
he's like, bring the dessert now.
And then give me a dessert.
Yeah.
And then dessert
And then let's go
after.
home.
Like
Yeah.
crazy.
And you said that stems from your dad?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
did he kind of do that same thing? How is
His
that?
dad bakes.
Oh,
His
It's-
dad bakes.
oh.
I mean, from scratch. I mean,
Oh.
sifting
Fire.
flour from scratch.
Pops can throw down.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like,
yeah, girl.
it was just bound to happen
Yum.
for me. Like,
Yum.
I don't even know what to tell y'all. Like, I had genetics that I was fighting against at that point. Like,
It does. It's like that sometimes.
Nah.
No,
100%.
his daddy be making some like even yesterday he made some from scratch some like banana bread. But you could be like, oh, can you make me some cinnamon rolls? And he has the yeast rising. He's making the cream cheese
Like
bread.
that.
He's from scratch, and it's really since COVID he's been in this like baking era, and it's good for him because he eats the sweets a lot. I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't eat certain things. But he's like, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, and his dad is always trying things. He's like. It's like a 4-to-1 cookie ratio. He's gonna eat 4 and I'm gonna get 1. Like it is what it is.
So,
It's
bro,
like
I feel you because
Thank you.
D's also gluten free,
Yeah.
so she can't even
I
have one. So it was
can't-
4 to
yeah,
0.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, she can't even have it.
Period. Like if we have a box of cookies, like he loves chunk cookies, it's all him. I
Chunk?
can't even have chunk.
that chunk store with the big.
You know what
My
we're talking
guy.
about.
I know
You
exactly
what
that's
we're
how you
talking
end up chunky.
That's facts.
Okay.
Facts.
And then they don't want to point the finger at me.
But Brett, no, but we used to pull
That's
up.
real. That's so real.
We used to pull up. She used to be like, so you know, and she's trying to give me the same hint that you gave him back then. She said, do you want to maybe get one cookie? They're really big.
I do. I just a
She said,
suggestion.
"They're really good." And I'm in there like, I'm looking at the menu and there's more than one that I want. there's actually 2 or 3 that I
And
want.
as a matter of fact, they have a special on a red velvet. So
Then I'm doing the math, and I'm like, the sheer math of it makes sense to get 4 cookies. We
Basically.
drove all the way out
Discount.
here.
Yeah.
4 cookies are gone in like 2 days, and I'm like, man,
Sounds about
I
right.
gained, I gained
Exactly.
10 pounds. What happened?
No. That's
I'm like,
my
I'm-
daily life.
I'm like 260, and I'm like, damn, how did I get here?
And you
it's
swear
like,
it's everything else but you.
exactly. You know what?
I'm like,
They
you know
praying
what?
on my downfall. That's what it is.
I'm blaming her at-home muffins, and it's like, no, it's
Yeah,
not the muffins.
right.
Yours are like
My
protein
banana,
and
yes.
wine bread and stuff, and he's over here like, that's your fault.
My protein balls. Like,
no, you
chill.
stopped at
No, it's
Bosu on the
not.
way home. You better take some accountability.
It was the 6-piece at Cane's.
Yes.
Can't keep
Extra
spinning that
fried.
block. I couldn't keep spinning that block.
That's not one that we can.
You know what killed me is like when I realized when I was out of football, like I got to the point where like I'd eat a chunk cookie or 2, and I step on the scale and it'd be like 3 pounds. I'm like, wait, man, that's how I was like, hold on, this is a little different. I can't eat like this no more. It was like I understood, like it started clicking.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't eat these damn
Yeah,
things like that.
that's
more.
right.
That scale would be moving, man. Hey.
You're not burning what?
No.
Like probably anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 calories just
Yeah.
from working out. Like you're not doing that anymore. So you do have
Yes.
to make those adjustments. When I tell you that we had that same conversation 3 days ago, that
Are you triggered right now?
3 days ago.
You are a victim.
I feel like
We need to go
He
to
does.
we need to go
He
to
does.
counseling.
Yeah, we do.
He does.
This is therapeutic right
Yes.
now.
100%.
3 days ago, we last week filmed a podcast. I'm in the trailer, right? I've been really focusing on my nutrition. Dee's a nutritionist, so
Yes.
she stays on me too. And she just guides. Like she doesn't like no hard like you have to eat that or
Yeah.
judging.
Because
But
we
it's
had
just
to
like
also work through that because before I did be a little bit more like, you know, you shouldn't have that. He's like, okay, I feel like you're a parent and I'm the
Yeah.
child, and I feel like maybe we can change the tone a little bit or
Yeah.
kind of how you
It's
say
always
things.
tone.
It's always tone.
I'm a
So I
grown, I'm a
said,
grown, I'm a
Have a
grown
tone. I
man.
rub
If I
his
want 4
belly for
cookies,
God's sakes. Like
enough.
I was
That's
just like,
enough.
I was just like, my baby, you know.
so we finished the pod. I'm in the trailer, grab some like trail mix. I got a couple of things at home. So I make my own and I've been doing this since like college. And I used to
Yeah.
eat like my one guilty pleasure. I used to eat super strict in college, but my one guilty pleasure was trail mix. But not like healthy trail
Yeah.
mix.
Oh.
Like
No.
it's got the M&Ms, yogurt covered
Yogurt
raisins.
covered raisins.
Raisins.
Yes.
The good stuff.
And I'm eating them by like the pound with like milk.
You talking
so it's like
the bags.
So imagine
So you're
like
like busheling it into your
Yes,
mouth. Okay,
Sprouts,
got it.
like the big.
legit the big bags.
bags,
And I've
yeah.
got different like mixes. Speaking of that, there's a whole story behind that might
Yeah,
for a
that'll be
different-
another.
No, but I almost did some time over trail mix one time, y'all.
No, it's for real though.
For real,
no,
I'm not
for
joking.
real.
Like y'all think I'm really
Like it's funny now, but it was
It's
not
funny,
funny.
it wasn't
then.
It was
funny
not
then.
funny when it was
Not
happening.
funny when it was
no,
happening.
seriously. Like, so I had to go in front of a judge and everything. So let me tell you what happened.
Yes.
You
So-
gotta tell us what happened
Okay,
now.
and do quick, please.
gotta
Do
tell the
it.
audience.
Give us a synopsis.
Yes.
So-
Super quick. So this is why the eye in the sky is always watching. So long story short, I'm in college, struggling college kid. I just transferred from Washington to Howard, so I'm in DC. And I used to go on the weekends and like visit a friend, like family friend. It was like right up the way in Virginia, and they had a really nice like grocery store, not in the DC area. This was in VA, and it was called Wegmans, like Wegmans grocery store. And it's like think Whole Foods, like that level.
Yeah.
And so they had the area where they had like all of the trail mix. You think you like if you can
The
imagine
bulk,
it.
you know, the bulk.
If you can
medicine.
imagine it, they had it. Everything.
You see him
Oh, so
lighting
you're in
up.
heaven.
It's like
But you
it
see him
lights up.
lighting up, you feel it.
And
you
I
feel
only-
So that's how you ended up in jail.
So the story gets better. So basically,
gosh.
I'm pulling up, but when I get there and I'm going to look at the trail mix, right? Like they didn't have the combo that I wanted,
Oh.
right? So
He's
I'm
very
like,
particular.
I'm some type of way. So I'm like, man, they got this over here, but they the yogurt covered raisins over here. So I'm like, let me go ahead and just make my own Kurt's mix. I'm gonna tag it up, and I'm gonna go check out with the rest of my groceries, right? Nothing wrong with that, but like. You know, when they're asking me at checkout with the rest of my groceries, like, oh, what do you have? I'm like, oh, I got some cashews, some almonds, right? Like, whatever's the least expensive, go ahead and
Yep.
ring that one up. Listen,
Also,
What?
you stole. So you
I wouldn't even
you
call that
stole.
stealing.
So
That's
you're a
mixing.
thief.
That's mixing.
so you're with me.
100%.
You're with me.
1,000%.
I'm mixing.
When
I
you go to jail
purchased.
for the same thing, just know I'm gonna leave you.
That's, no, that's mixing.
I purchased all of my
When
groceries.
Sprouts
So
hits me up.
it's not like I went through self checkout
Yeah.
like finesse. Like
Yeah.
I literally purchased with the person. She scanned it through. Now again, did I sometimes maybe take the lesser item that if almonds are 7 and the raisins are 6, I'm like I'm gonna go ahead and these are the raisins mostly.
Yeah.
Say this to say, one day I come back. It's like I hadn't gone there for like a couple of months. So like I was home for the summer or whatever. Come back to school. I go back up to this grocery store because I go visit a family friend. And I pull up and something told me, this is like the power of the Holy Spirit. Because something told me like, you know what? purchase everything individually, like just get individual bags for everything. Because the last time I came, the lady was kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna, like basically like I gotta ring up the individuals, or she basically want to charge me like $40 for the trail mix. And I was
She's
like,
doing
oh
it the
man,
right way.
separately. So she was right. I was wrong. But let me just tell you what happens. I'm pulling back up to get this trail mix, and literally I see like one police car, and I'm like, oh man, they must have some like, must be something going on up here at the, grocery store. 2 police cars.
What?
3 police cars. I see a 4th police car. I see officers walking towards me from both ends of the.
No way.
No.
And I got my groceries in my car. I'm going to the Honda Accord.
The Maybach.
And officer's like, basically he stops me like. There was like something in my, like a child, like there's something in my bag. And I'm like, what's up? Can I see your receipt? Whoop-de-whoop. They want to take me into like the room and talk to me. The guy was like, this is actually, you've been here multiple times. You've had like this trail mix. This actually is really hitting our bottom line. I'm like, well, hey, like, it's like 40, like, man, I got my card. I'm like, I can pay for it. He's like, you know what? No, this is like petty theft. Like, what? I want to take it to the judge. And I'm keeping in mind, I'm a star linebacker, Howard University, so even when they brought me in, they're like, you wear one left Nike, like you wear the Nike socks. Like they had my whole like, they had a whole bio, everything. Like we were going to come get you off the football field at campus. I was like, whoa. So long story short, I was pre-law at Howard at the time. So I called my professor, who was also an attorney, and was just like, hey, this like, I love trail mix, but this is like super weird. Like I tried to pay, like they're not letting me pay. Like I'm in the back of the police car. They got me down at the police station.
What?
Yeah.
No joke. And so they were like, hey, well, it's gonna be off your record type of thing, but like just wanted to like, but they wanted to like try to pursue individual like theft of trail mix, although I outright like checked out with. So it's crazy. But that's how much I love trail mix.
So you almost went to jail because you're a trail mix bandit. Is what you're saying right now.
It's crazy.
I don't know, man.
So needless to say, I buy the trail mix in the bag now.
Nah, 100%.
Yeah, and that mixology, that Kurt mix does not exist, and let's leave it where it was.
Just to follow this up, they were waiting for you.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
They couldn't wait for you to come back.
Yes.
You're probably like the only black person that fit that description anyway.
I will say there were not a lot of brothers in the area. There were not a lot of brothers in the area.
Oh,
so I don't think they had a lot of action at that grocery store in that area.
That was a great story. Wow.
I think it's one of the first times like I've told that story. Like people,
what?
Nobody knows that.
Yeah, no.
I would never.
He's a felon.
I promise I'm not. I gotta look at the camera. I promise
like,
you. I promise you I'm not a felon. I promise.
Just kidding.
Man, it got weird.
It got weird. It was crazy. So. But
they wanted to make an example out of you too.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing.
And but all jokes aside, on the felon part, it's like legit. It was petty, right? It was like it should have been like, just go ahead and pay for it, dude. Leave, bag them up separately next time. Like that was what I would have done if I was in charge of the grocery store. But it was like, I want to make an example of you.
You're the star.
And so what they tried to do, to the point they tried to push it, and actually this is why I've always had utmost respect for the police, but I really appreciate the officer and why you just want to be a good person, because as he's reading about my story, he's like, I know you're a man of faith. Like basically like, I know this is like really weird. Like I'm doing my job because I have to, but he basically was like, I'm not going to let them try to list each time that you got trail mix as a separate. Every time you got Kurt's mix is a separate incident, which if there's like 3 incidents, it is an actual felony.
Wow.
And I'm like,
you just did it once?
Yeah.
They were
you did it once or a couple of times?
So this would be my routine of going to the grocery store.
Oh, so you are a thief. Okay, anyway. So you did what they said. Got it. All right, got it.
I want to make it clear that I purchased my trail mix. It just may have been at a lower price per item. It may have been at a discounted rate.
You're snitching on yourself right now, Kurt.
So I say that to say,
cut this out.
but I also say this to say, like, for me, it was also a reminder of even the small things of like, most people would be like, yo, what? It's crazy. But like, even the small things, I literally like walk out of stores and like, I've got my receipt. Like,
wow.
Walmart, I got like eggs and peanut butter. I'm like, screenshot. Here's a receipt, man.
That's your trauma response.
That's my trauma response.
That's your trauma response.
Triggered by the receipt.
So I know that was a long story, but I was like, I couldn't help it with
that
the
is
trail
hilarious,
mix.
though. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Damn,
that
bro.
was so random.
It's crazy. So I feel like the segue from that, I feel like I've got to maybe ask you a question to bounce us off of the crazy trail mix scenario. But I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
You've been able to play, and this is like football related, but you've been able to play with some absolute icons. Like not too many people can say that they worked like, people work with a lot of folks like throughout their career, but like not many people can say they've worked with Russell Wilson. They work with Aaron Rodgers. What was your experience like, being on teams with, really two prolific, like Hall of Fame caliber players?
No, man, great question. It's crazy because like thinking of this stuff doesn't hit me until like now when I'm like retired, like in the moment.
You can process.
Yeah, in the moment, I'm like, this is Aaron, this is Russ, like this is Lamar, this is Carson Wentz, this is Jordy Nelson. I can go on and on. Julius Peppers, all these guys. And, but it was a very beautiful thing because like it also like framed my mind. Like when I first got into league in Green Bay, I didn't necessarily know what a true quarterback was, like any of this stuff. So I'm coming into it sort of like a young pup getting groomed and trained to be an Aaron or Russ. And like that was just where I was. Like that was my partner every day. We trained, we competed in quarterback school together. So to me, it was like a true friendship. Same with Russ. Like, as a backup, like that's your ace. Like I got to make sure you're ready and prepared as possible. And I'm trying to make sure I stay ready without the reps. But it's not until you get out where you start realizing like, man, I'm watching these guys on TV or I'm texting, Russ or Aaron, and I know these cats about to be in the Hall of Fame. And so it's a beautiful thing. And just to look from my perspective now, retired, in a whole different real estate, type of field, to be able to just say like, wow, I was there, I was in it. And, that those were just normal people to me,
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think so many people are curious about that element of like, these are normal people. Like this is just like everybody else.
Yeah.
They just this is their job.
Yeah.
Extraordinary talents.
Yeah.
Extraordinary talents. The things I was able to learn from Aaron, Russ, the things I was able to, I would watch Lamar eat McDonald's and go to the practice field and kill everybody. And I'm over there like, man, I can't do it. Like I can't do it. But like just being able to witness like the differences too, that's another strength. Like everybody had their strength. Russ didn't take a break. And all of them worked hard. Russ was like a dude that even on the off days, it was on day.
Okay.
Aaron was a very more relaxed, like chill, laid back. But at the same time, like he was probably one of the smartest, and I tell everybody this, he's probably one of the smartest guys I've ever been around. Like not just football, like everything. Very, very brilliant. The way his mind processes information and you see it on the field, but like it correlates off the field as well. And then you got guys like, Carson Wentz and all these other, Larry Fitz that I played with out here. Greatest teammate I've ever had in my life. But like personally, like these guys are normal people, but like extraordinary human beings, like the work ethic, what they do every day, and the routine. So we always will follow back up on that routine. Like their routine, that's where I learned a lot of my stuff from. It didn't change. No matter if you're injured, like the routine and the mindset of like what I'm going to do every day and I'm going to get the most out of this. And people, when you get out of football, it's a little different because you're not in that competitive environment every day. That was a norm, when you're growing up and be around these guys. Like every day you come and you're not trying to, you're trying to stay on the team, not trying to get cut. You have to compete every day. So being around the atmosphere now is, it's a beautiful thing to look back in my position now and be like, I was there, I experienced it all. And it was, and these are all, great friends of mine now to this day.
I got to ask the greatest, like biggest memory post NFL, looking back on your NFL career or football career as a whole. There might be too many, but what's like one that you just were like, man, I always remember that moment.
I got a great one for you. I was actually playing here for the Cardinals. I was backing up Kyler, hadn't got in yet. I just came from Seattle, so I was backing up Russ the year before. We were going to Seattle and playing, in Seattle. Russ was having a great year. This game, he was on course to break the franchise passing record for the Seattle Seahawks. And Kyler goes in, his first quarter. I'm over there on the sideline just watching him play. And then, next thing you know, the offense goes out and Kyler's not going out. And so rightfully so, at the being backup quarterback, Brett, you're in, and you're not necessarily prepared for it, but you're ready for it. But in the moment when you don't see Kyler go out, you're like, oh shit, I'm about to go in, And long story short, had a great game. Kenyon Drake running back, like man, throwing the ball to Larry. We end up winning the game. It was one of the coolest experiences for me. Because not playing, especially behind Russ and after my years in Green Bay, like this was the moment that I got to get back on the field and not only prove to others that I still have it, but prove to myself that I can still play. But even after the game, me and Russ were still great friends. And I still have his jersey in my house right now. He signed his jersey, and I didn't realize it at the time. He had broke the franchise passing record that game.
Wow.
Signed the jersey to me. We jersey swapped. I have pictures from it. And after the game, you know, the announcement came out. Russ broke the franchise passing record. And I was like, I can't keep this jersey. Like, this is not for me. This is for Russ. So I text him. I send it back to the trainers. And next thing you know, jersey comes right back to me, and I get a text from Russ, and he's like, bro, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done. Keep it. It's yours. And I still have that jersey to this day. One of the coolest moments of football to me. It meant the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, because Russell is, you know, he's also with Sierra. He's known for being a family man. So is there anything that you learned from him that you bring into your relationship now?
You know, I feel like I take a little bit from all those guys I've been around. Russ was, again, very, very consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, that's a huge one. You know, Russ is a very routine based, very consistent man. And especially in our relationship, like, I don't want to be a guy who's down, up, you know, non-consistent. Like, and that was just being around Russ and who he is. Like, he's very, very, and I would say a servant. Like, he's all about helping others and, you know, being the best man that he could possibly be. And, you know, you take things from everybody, but Russ was an awesome guy to be around at that time, especially in that time in my life. And, you know, still young and stuff like that. But, like, he really, really took me under the wing and taught me a lot.
I appreciate you saying that so much, especially because sometimes you see these stories in the clickbait out there that people don't have Russ's phone number. You can't text him and get in touch with your teammate. And so just to hear that type of moment and experience and giving you the jersey when he breaks the record for like that's the epitome of a teammate and somebody that you want to, like, you know, work alongside. So that's powerful.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Russ. And I would say this about Aaron Rodgers too. I know the media don't make him sound good and great dude, like genuine person. When I first got there, I was young as wet behind the ears, didn't know what I was doing. But Aaron, that was the first quarterback I was really around for 3 years. Got to spend time with him, really understand how he is, like who he is, and like just one of the genuine dudes too. I still text him to this day, like still a great dude, like awesome. I've had some great teammates, and especially the quarterbacks I was around. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's incredible. Yeah. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, what's next for you two? Whether it's what countries are we going to? Our kids in the future? What's next for y'all?
Hello, he's looking at me. Like I said,
he's like, well, you planned all the trips.
I do plan everything. So as of right now, the kids completely on ice. I think that we're just kind of enjoying being married. I think that it's all about foundations and fundamentals, and really for about 4 years of us kind of dating, we were long distance because again, like I was living in Miami, I was getting my real estate career and everything off the ground, and I had like my whole life there. You got to think I was there for over a decade. I moved to Miami 2 weeks before my 21st birthday, so I was there until I was pretty much 31. I'm almost 32 now, and but a lot of that time we just spent apart, and it was just like a lot of plane rides and all that stuff, you know. So for the last really year and a half, 2 years, we finally got to be together all the time. And even with us being together now, it's not even like we get to be together because we're still working. We're still I still have to go to Miami to go see clients or do walkthroughs or whatever, or he has speaking engagements and things that he has to do and stuff. But I think we're just spending time together at the moment. So having kids is just not necessarily maybe in the future, we'll work on it and we'll figure it out. But right now it's just kind of a space of us. Yes. And that leads us to where we're going next. I'm actually doing the research right now. We were originally going to leave the 17th, March 7th, basically in 2 weeks. We were going to leave. We were going to go to Barcelona to begin with. Yes. But we think we might go live in, the Czech Republic, maybe Germany for a month. And then we have to come back for some work stuff anyways for a week, and then we'll start our 3 to 6 month stint in Barcelona after that. But right now we're just trying to I'm trying to figure out where we're gonna go. But it's between Berlin, the Czech Republic, and what was the last one? In Milan. We were thinking about going to Milan. So we might live in Italy for a little bit. I don't know. It's up in the air. This is what having no kids does.
Yes.
You get to just put it on a little.
Yes.
What is that thing that goes?
Yeah.
And it's just
It's
like wherever
so-
it lands, you just
It's amazing. You can pick up and go. I love
Yeah,
it.
we're just like pick up and go, and thankfully,
And bring
like
your dog.
literally, and we're bringing
This time,
Sebastian.
this
Love
time,
you,
yeah.
Sebastian. I don't know if you watching this. That's our dog.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's great because of the workspace that we're in. We're in real estate,
Yeah.
so it's not necessarily like we need to be here, and like we're just building the company. We're doing projects. We're both invested in things. We're just basically working on this conglomerate and making sure our ecosystem is working. And last year was the first year that we really spent 8 months outside of the U.S. So we were gone for 8
Wow.
months. We were only here for 4, but that's like
That's incredible.
Yeah.
being gone for 2-3 months, coming back for a month, being gone, but we were able to still like build the companies and do all these things. But it solidified like real estate is where we're going. Like we
Okay.
need to stay in real estate. That's what we want to do. We're just like narrowing our focus and focusing on that. And I think that maybe next we'll achieve the kid thing. Maybe we'll go on to something else. But right now it's
fine.
just really about us. And I appreciate that. Like
I love that. Yeah, and you have plenty of time. I know people always try to rush you. They're gonna ask you, when you guys having kids? And it's like, yeah, you're not babysitting these kids. Like, you're not
Yeah.
gonna be here day to day with these kids.
Literally.
Don't pressure me. Don't put that on me
Yes.
like that.
Pressure doesn't necessarily work for us. I would say too, like one thing that what I love the most about our relationship, and it's something that was great about us traveling all last year, was that we got to be alone because it's not about you guys, it's about us,
us.
you know. And like whether it is in anything that we have, it's about us. And even being as far as you are, like you get into an argument in Vietnam, what am I gonna? I can't go down the street to my mom's
Take a
house.
nap,
right.
baby. I'll be
Like
here.
that's what we always say.
I'll
Like,
see you about 10 minutes.
like,
Yeah.
you're upset, go take a nap because it's
Yeah.
like, what are we like? Go be pretend mad, get it over it. We're gonna talk about it and whatever, you know. But like it allowed us this time and the focus to like focus on each other and focus on
Yes.
like whatever it was. And you know, everyone says that marriage is hard. No, marriage is easy. If you pick the right person, it's like smooth like cream cheese on a bagel. Like I swear we don't argue. We don't have any of this stuff. It's just a matter of like, hey, maybe I didn't like the way you said that, or maybe your tone was a little weird, and you can correct a little bit different. But when you have all these outside forces, one thing that we've narrowed down is like no one else matters but us. You know what I mean? Like we are unwavering in that. And at the end of the day, like I have no opinion is going to change how I feel about him because I know him. I spend every day with him. I believe in him. I follow him. I everything is just me and him. Now, if someone comes to try to tell me something, I'm like, you're crazy because I know him. You can't tell me. I spent the time with him. But when you are home or here, you fall into the gossip and all the other stuff. But that's just not our thing. We've always been secluded. I moved to Miami by myself, secluded, and nobody was there. You got to think I'm from Arizona. I moved to Miami, like, and nobody knew I lived there for a while, you know, and I just pride myself on that, and I hope that we continue to do that because there is no peer pressure. Nobody's going to pressure us into anything. Like, it's not making nothing over here,
Especially
you know?
no
I
kids.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because my father-in-law all the time is like, "When are you guys gonna have a kid?"
Yeah,
And da-da-da-da. And
it's usually the parents.
Yeah.
Like
he
the parents.
recently almost got me though because he showed me. Man, it was the first time I've had baby feeder. I told him this. I don't
yeah.
even think he's seen him yet, but
Yeah.
the first time and only time, and this is on record. This is the only time. But he brought these like, you know, like the little Jordan 5s, but think like 30 years ago, the first pair of sneakers Brett has ever had and owned. His dad
Still got
brought
them.
them out in a
Oh
little
my gosh.
saran wrap
Stop.
thing and was like, these are Brett's shoes. These are his first pair of Jordans from when he was a kid. And he was like, when we have a son, we're going to name him Brett the Third because his dad is Brett. He's Brett Jr. and it's going to be B3.
Gotta have it.
You see?
He's,
Yep.
Yeah, he's the second.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
gonna have a
second.
B3.
Interesting, because you're actually going to ask you that question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he was like, can you imagine B3 walking around with these shoes? And I've never had baby fever. And I'm like, I need to make a baby for you right now.
I love it.
I need to make you a baby so I can feel those shoes right now. Like, I need to give you a baby right now. And then I'm like, wait
a minute.
I'm like, postpartum depression? I'm like,
those
is it
are
worth
real.
a pair of Jordans? I'm like, get it together, lady. Like, but I just, like, it's funny all the time. He's like, yeah, I want 4. I'm like, who's making those? Like, who is making those? Like, but if it was, I would have had a baby. If peer pressure was a
You
thing.
two,
I'm
I
too
can't.
most. I'm
Two.
too most.
The similarities is
Two.
insane. Like
Yes.
I told him when we first got together, I was like, "Oh, I'm cool 2. 2
Yeah.
done, wrap it up." He's like, "Well, what about 3?" I'm like, "Ugh,
Do you have 3 arms?
I'll do 3. I'll do 3 for you. If
You're gonna
we
have
need
3?
to." Then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, let's do 4." I said, "What are you talking about?
You're getting
What's
bullied.
happening?"
You are getting bullied.
What's
Do not let this
happening?
man bully you. Okay.
I'm not
I
bullying
already
my
told
wife.
him. We've already had the conversation. Like I've already told him, and I'm starting to send him like videos of childbirth and some other things because I want to do unmedicated.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo,
Man.
maybe 2." Like maybe
She said-
two.
I say 2. One
She
for
was
him,
setting
one
the
for me.
stage.
I think I want to have. He
I
wants
want
a
to
girl.
do
I want a boy.
man-to-man. I don't think I want to do zone. I don't want to
Yeah.
do zone coverage.
On
I
a
want
man
like a
and-
man-to-man. That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
mad
looking
at- There we
That's
go.
what you put it.
I want a
That's what I'm
man-to-man
looking for.
coverage.
That's what I want, man-to-man coverage.
We want a boy and a girl, but we did say
Yeah.
when we do have kids, if it's a boy, we're gonna do the like scientific put a girl. Like he wants a girl, I could care less. I already know my
Same.
attitude's terrible, so I'm
Same.
like, good luck. But,
Same.
but a boy, I'm like, but then again, like I'm like, you sacrifice back scratches, you sacrifice cuddling, you sacrifice. Just know that there's gonna be a little thing. He's like, nah, never mind. I'm like, exactly. So like, but we want to have 2. We think that 2 would be perfect because he can pay attention, I can pay attention. When you get to 3, sometimes it slips through the cracks, and we just want to be such hands-on parents and so like involved. And I grew up in foster care, so like the whole family dynamic and stuff like that has always been a foreign concept. I've never really had the like, go to your grandma's house or go do this, go do that. Like his family is my family, and then I have like my adoptive mom and my little brother, and that's it. I don't have the Thanksgivings, the Christmas, all of that. So when we go into this new era, it's something that we have to really build from scratch.
Absolutely,
and like. It's going to be a lot, and I know that it's asking a lot of the both of us, but I think it's a challenge we'll take on eventually. But right now, I'm not necessarily
in a rush.
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
No.
I love
Not
that.
at all.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I think this is going to be so powerful, and we appreciate y'all sharing this too, because this is going to help both people that are maybe single or finding their one, or maybe looking for that person, maybe spinning the block and finding somebody that they used to, maybe they gave a kiss to in high school.
Yes,
that's
that's
worthy.
worthy.
They got to be on the equally yoked.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's grown. Like if
Yes.
you know, from being like in high school, you're not still like a high school
No.
personality. You've grown.
I didn't peak in high school. I was kind of ugly in high school, so he'd been fine. But it was me. I was like because I had a mohawk. I don't remember when I was little. Remember my head was shaved. I was like modeling back then, so I had like a very like eclectic
It's giving
androgynous
Rihanna.
look. It was giving that like
Love
short
it.
pixie like.
Yes.
I used to put in a little palm tree. I don't know how we even kissed because I was ugly, but I pulled
He
him
saw it.
and
He
I
saw it.
re-pulled him when I started to look like this. So, but it goes to show that he loves me because he's seen every shades of everything and he still chose me. So
Yes.
you know what I mean? There's 8 billion people in this world and you ended up with me, and now I have the pleasure of being Cadija Hundley. So now it's gonna be great when we make little chiclets. But yeah, for sure, it's weird. I've known him forever.
I love that.
Before he had bass in his voice. Before I knew
that's
this
right.
man. He used to have what your dad used to make you fade your hair. I remember all of that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know us as kids,
like,
you're
yeah.
older than us, so it was kind of like a displaced knowing us, but like our birthdays are 11 days apart. So mine's June 4th and his is June 15th. So we're like, we've been like all the way until the very end. We've just kind of been around each other. So now look at us as adults. It's crazy.
So you said you're coming up on your 1-year anniversary?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any plans yet?
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Kate Tronada.
You know what Kate Tronada is?
I do.
The artist.
Love it.
We're going to Manchester.
We're going to Manchester.
go to
He has a show on our anniversary.
We're
so
there.
we're gonna.
We're in there.
You guys.
Jamming.
That's the kind of stuff we like to
I
do.
love
Jamming.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Y'all are
I
gonna make us
love it.
elevate our travel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Y'all gonna
no,
make
you
us
really
elevate our
are.
travel.
Literally
Like, you
come.
really
We
are.
literally always are like,
You are.
come. Like we spent the entire year because we always get like 2-3 bedroom places. We're always like, come, and no one ever takes us up on it. Like, come. Like the show is gonna be so insane. We're gonna be in Manchester, so we're gonna go spend a couple days there. But it's.
Are you going to go to any
crazy.
soccer games? Or
We
football
already
games?
went to one. We went to one in for Valentine's Day a couple years ago.
Freaking Madrid versus
It was like Barcelona.
Yeah, it was the Classico.
It was
the
a Classico, yeah,
That's
a few years
intense.
ago.
awesome.
We were for
Wow.
Valentine's Day, so
Wow.
yeah.
Incredible.
We like to do random things. We're like, why don't we just go snowboarding? Or why don't do it's
Yeah.
you can do dinner, of course. Like I still want the dinner and the flowers, but like we
Yes.
just wanna I think it'd be cool to just dance together. Dance
Yeah.
into another
Sure.
year of marriage.
Enjoy each other's company and
Yeah.
happy early anniversary.
Yes.
Thank you.
So
We're
happy
excited.
for
We're
you.
gonna have to take y'all up on that international travel at some point.
Absolutely. So if you guys don't mind,
Yeah.
take a look into this camera here. Let
Okay.
everyone know what you're working on, and also let them know where they can find you too, where they can follow you. Because I know
Okay.
so many people are going to be inspired by your story and want to be able to like follow you along your
Oh,
journey.
awesome.
And when you guys are like just your world travels. So yes, let people know where you're at.
You guys can follow me at Brett Hundley 7 on IG, LinkedIn, freaking Instagram, all that stuff. Just traveling, real estate, business, life, and wife.
Yes, I love it.
Love that. My Instagram name, or all my handles really is just my name, Cadija. It's just at Cadija.
How do you spell that?
Cadija. but it's ca.dija, kind of to help you pronounce
Yes.
it out. We're both in real estate. I'm licensed in Arizona and Miami. So if anyone's looking for a house or anything like that, any projects, anything,
Yes,
please
yes,
contact
yes.
me. That's my side of things, and also flying back and looking at projects. So if you guys need anything in the real estate sector, investments, flips, short-term rentals, that's even cleaning. We also have a cleaning company. That's something you can reach out to. We have Final Touch,
cleaning.
construction cleanings, all that stuff. We are the people for you. And we will be around the world.
Yes, jet setters.
Jet setters, guys. No kids.
Yes, dinking it. Okay, dual income, no
Dinking it
kids.
to the end, just like
Love
you
it.
guys. And
Love
honestly, it was a pleasure to even reconnect and see you guys, because
Yes.
we get to see you guys do all this stuff, and it's so cool to see somebody's in the same space as us,
Yes.
and you guys are definitely something to look up to be honest with you, and we're very inspired by you guys. So thank you for taking the time and
Thank you
talking
for
to us
having
and
us.
everything,
Yeah,
and giving us this
absolutely.
platform.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we appreciate y'all so much. We're definitely gonna have you come back on later in the year and later as we get into this podcast. But thank you so much both
Of
for
course.
being here.
Thank you guys.
And as always, please subscribe to our YouTube at Coupley Fit. Please follow us on all platforms at Coupley Fit, COUPLEYFIT.